welcome back. In this video, I will explain what is payment term. We also call it as terms of payment in SAP, and we will also perform a system demo considering different scenarios here. So let us understand what is payment term first. So basically, we use payment term in SAP system to calculate due date. So assume you have purchased something from your vendor and you have to make a payment to your vendor, right? So you should know how many days that vendor will be granted, right? While you make a payment, okay, there should be some days granted by your vendor, right? So if that calculation should be done automatically in system, okay, so that we also call it as due date for that, okay. So how system calculate due date? So system calculate due date using baseline date plus days that is allowed to make your payment, okay. So yes, this payment term is also applicable for your customer related this receipt postings or the invoices here, okay. Now while you configure this payment term, you have to consider a few things here. Like I have mentioned some things here, like account type. So account type, while you configure payment term, you have to first check for which account type you have to configure payment term, whether it's for customer, whether it's for vendor, or whether it's for both. Yes, in SAP system it's possible to configure payment term for both vendors and customer. Then next is baseline date. So you can have also like a fixed day while you calculate baseline date, okay. So the date from which days will be calculated is a baseline date here, okay. So you can have a fixed day, or you can also add additional month while you calculate this baseline date. Then payment block or payment method. Yes, you can default payment method or payment block by using this this payment term here. Means whenever you are posting any invoice, this default payment block or payment method will be auto populated in your invoice and will be considered during payments. Now there is a default baseline date, so you can calculate baseline date using different options. For example, this posting date, entry date, or document date, or even there is a no default, okay. So same can be entered manually. Then payment terms, this is nothing but the number of days or percentage, okay, or the additional month that will be considered during your due date calculation. Also one thing to note here is, like, by using payment term, you can also calculate discounts, okay. Means not only due date, but you can also calculate discounts using this payment term here. So let us perform system demo for this payment term. So I have identified these four scenarios for our today's testing. So one is normal scenario. Second, we will also see installment payment term configuration. Then using fixed day, we will also configure payment term, and then we will perform a system demo using cash discount. Here we have to configure this GL account for cash discount. So I'll be considering example of this supply related, wherein that supplier granted a cash discount, so it's like a cash discount received for us, okay. Now let us perform a system demo here. Transaction code we use is OBP8 to configure payment term, okay. So once you execute transaction code OBP8, you'll see this. So there are already 19 payment terms. There are already some payment terms pre-delivered by SAP, okay. You can see whether these are useful for you. If not, then you can configure your own payment term here, okay. Now let us click on new entries. So I'm configuring payment term, for example Z001, and so I'll be mentioning that I have to make a I'll be considering this payment term for either for customer or supplier. See here, you can see there are account types. You can have this payment term only for supplier or only for customer, okay. Now in current case I want it only for supplier, so I'll just enable a checkbox for supplier. Now I'll mention that I need this payment within 13 days, 30 days actually, okay. I'm not considering this baseline date with this fixed one. So what I'm doing is I'm considering baseline date using posting date in current scenario. Now the days that I have to consider for due date calculation, I have to mention here with this 30 days, okay. Now this is simple scenario I'm considering here in current example. Now the payment term is Z001 and this is applicable for supplier. Now my baseline date will be considered from posting date, and then 30 days will be considered while calculation of due date here, okay. Now save this entry. So this is configuration. Now how system will determine the payment term? So there are two ways actually. Okay, either you can directly manually put payment term during your invoice posting, or you can default the payment term in your supplier or customer master, that is in business partner in SAP system. So I have one business partner created in system, so I'll be directly defaulting in business partner. Transaction code is BP. Okay, select relevant BP role. So I have to consider this vendor for FI posting, so I'm considering this financial accounting related one. Then I am going to company code here. Now here under vendor payment transactions, I'm changing my payment term to Z001, which we have just created. So within 30 days. Now save this. Now I have defaulted my payment term is my supplier master. Changes are saved. Now let us post one vendor invoice. I'm posting vendor invoice without reference to PO. So in case if you're using payment term with PO reference, in that case you have to default payment term, or you have to enter payment term during this PO creation. Now let me just enter the details here. I'll show you how payment terms will be considered in this document. In payment tab, you see here baseline date. Okay, so baseline date is calculated since we have considered baseline date as a posting date here, right? So the posting date is 22nd of March, so system has considered baseline date here, which is 22nd of March. Now payment term, so payment term is defaulted from your supplier master and 30 days that we have configured here, right? Now due on, so due on is considering this 30 days, means baseline date plus 30 days will be your due date, right? Now just save this. Now click on document and then display, double click on this line item. You see here these details are appearing here in this document line item, and I'll show you how system calculated due date in this ledger. Go to FBL1N, or you can also use transaction code FBL1H in HANA system. Execute. So this was our vendor. Let me go back and then put this vendor here. Okay, so I have considered this need due date directly, but let me show you other fields also. I have adjusted my layout with this payment term details. You see here payment term is Z001, system calculated baseline date from posting date, then 30 days from this baseline date, and then need due date is calculated with 21st of April here. So this way normal scenario works. We'll see in next scenario with installment payment term. So for installment payment terms, there is a different process actually, little bit different. So what we do in installment payment term is, for example, we have to installment 1, maybe we'll consider like installment 1 here, then installment 2. Okay, so our installment 1 will be like 50%, then next installment will be 50%, then we have to define payment terms. For installment payment term, we have to define even normal payment term, then installment payment term 1 and installment payment term 2 here, right? This is normal payment term, okay, which will say that this is installment payment term, then this 2 will be actually installments here, right? Now let us configure this also. I'll just go back. Now Z002 like installment payment term 50 plus 50%. Okay, now this is for supplier I'll be using. Then here posting date. In first installment payment term, we just have to maintain that this is installment payment. Okay, no need to enter anything here. Okay, right? Now this case I'll be considering document date as my baseline date. Let us see. Now save this. Now we have to put actual installments actually. Okay, create installment payment term. Again, go to OBB8. Okay, one second, it's already open in my case, so I'll just use this. Let us go back. I'll just copy this. Now I'll use payment term 003. So this is installment. This is installment 50%. Okay. So from this installment payment term, I remove this installment payment checkbox. Now I have considered for main payment term, I have considered document date. So I'm selecting baseline date as a document date, and I need first installment within 15 days here, right? Now save this. We'll be creating another payment term as G004 here. That is another installment of 50%. Again, I need this in next 30 days, for example. Save this. Now we have created three payment terms here. One is base payment term for installment 50%, then G033, which is first installment, and this is second installment. Let us save these changes. Now we have to enter installments. Now we have to go to transaction code OBB9. Okay, now let us enter here G002, installment first, installment second, percentage of installment is 50%. Here you define actually percentage. Now for first installment percent, we'll be considering payment term as G003, and for second it's G004, and save this. Right, now let us go back. Business partner, let us change this to G002, which is main payment term. Right, now save this. Now let us post one vendor invoice. Now this is document date, right? So this case I'll use different document date, maybe from past. Installment, now 1000. Let us enter cost center. This is P&L GL. Now you go to this payment tab. Okay, this is in past fine. Now you see here payment term G002 is updated. I'll show you installment. Let us save this. Now your invoice amount will be splitted based on installment. Let us check in vendor master. You see here this document we posted just now 2022 ending with 22. Now 50%, 50%, right? Okay, because our installment is with for 50-50. Now you see here for the first case 15 days we consider here, which is overdue, because we consider 15 days, and the baseline date we consider as a document date in this case, right? So from 1st of March these 15 days are calculated, which is 16th, which is already crossed our date, right? So because of that it's overdue, and next installment is in on 31st of March, so which is not due here, right? So this way we create installment payment term. Next scenario we'll see with fixed day, right? Now let us configure payment term with fixed day. Go to OBB8 again, create new entry. Okay, payment term G005. Okay, so this is fixed day, right? So I'll just mention fixed day. For example, you can configure as for your own explanation of 15th of month, right? Fixed day 15th. You can add even additional months also. I'm considering posting date here, right? Okay, so here no need to add anything here in the payment terms. Okay, system will calculate your baseline date from this 15. Okay, because it's a fixed day. Now save this. Okay, and let us see with one example. I'm using FP60 again. So I'm current date. Okay, this is fixed day. Okay, now I will change my payment term. Calculated, we created G005 here, right? Okay, see here. Okay, so we have changed this payment term to G005, and upon changes you see here due on 15th of the current month, this March month 15th. You see here we consider invoice date, posting date of 22nd of March, right? And as per our configuration we consider posting date. So in with normal case, system will calculate your payment baseline date by considering posting date, but since this is fixed day, right? So because of that, system has considered due on this 15th of this month. Now save this. Okay, let me enter the amount. Yeah, this 1000 I have not entered here. Yeah, save this. Okay, now let us refresh our ledger. Vendor line items, this 23 you see here, 15th is considered here, right? Now next we will see cash discount. Okay, so I'll create another payment term here with cash discount. So this I will be using for vendor related. Okay, within 30 days, for example, grant 5% cash discount. Okay, now posting date within 30 days, 5% cash discount, right? Okay, this time I'll be using block key also. I'll show you how we can directly put a block for payment and payment method. So I'll be considering T here. So I know I have already created payment method T, so I'll be using T here. Now save this. Sorry, G006 will be creating here. Fine. Now save this. This is applicable for both, but I'll be using in vendor case. Let us change here. No need to change. You can even update during postings also. Right, I have not configured GL account for this cash discount received from vendors. I'll show you where to configure. Okay, now this is cash discount, for example. Post this. Go to payment tab. Okay, see 30 days and 5. Now one thing to remember here, this cash discount, whether it's received from vendor or whether it's allowed to customer, so this will be applicable at the time of, in case of customer at the time of receipt, and in case of vendor at the time of payment. Okay, during invoices it just system will just enable the calculations there. Okay, so this is applicable at the time of payment. Now you see here in our payment term we mention default payment method as a T there and payment block as a A here, right? You see here. Now both things are defaulted here in invoice. Now I'll just make this as a free for payment. Okay, and let us save this. Up to 00. Okay, I think I have to change my setting at company code label. I'll do that. Okay, this is because of tolerances. We'll see once this message. Okay, tolerance limit we have to set. I'm going to OBA4 because in my company code I didn't allow this line term label cash discount, I guess. Let me see. Go to OBA4 and my company code here. Okay, cash discount per line term. So I'll just mention 10%. Okay, here, fine. Now save this and let us try again. Okay, let us see. 1 second, let me see this. within tolerance limit. Okay, I have to repost this document. Looks like configuration was not considered during posting. Payment, fine, and okay, fee for payment, and save this. Okay, earlier configuration was not considered quickly, so yeah, now let us make a payment. Before we make a payment, let us configure GL account for cash discount received. Here, go to FBKP. In the automatic postings, you see here cash discount and payment differences. Under that, cash discount received. So this is received from from vendor. Okay, now let me configure GL account. So I've configured this GL account for cash discount received. Okay, now let us make a payment. So I'm doing manual payment here. Just put 1000 here, which I need to readjust later considering cash discount. So process open item, I think. Okay, let me check my house bank here. Okay, so for current company, my house bank is configured as HDFC. So I've just changed this. Now I have to select this clearing account, which is nothing but outgoing account. Now let us see this. Okay, you see here line term with this cash discount is appearing, which is 5% on this 1000 here. Okay, and 950 should be the actual payment. Now let me adjust this 1000 here, which we put outside. Now let me put a star here, so system will consider 950 here, right? Now click on document, then simulate. Okay, there is some issue here. Fine, yeah, this was information message. Now you see here vendor is debited with 1000. Okay, we are doing payment of 950, considering 50 as a cash discount here, cash discount received. This is kind of an income for us. Okay, and then post this. You see here it is posted here. Let us go to ledger and then refresh. Fine, now this is in cleared item. All items will just consider on today's date. Execute this. Okay, now 24 was the one which we posted with this cash discount related. Okay, this 1000, and this 15 is 15 ending with 02 is our payment document. Fine, now let us see that also. Okay, you see here cash discount amount was updated here. Fine, this is 50 as a cash discount here. So yeah, this way we configure payment terms in SAP system. I hope this video is useful to you. Okay, thanks for watching this video.